Open road and I'm ready to roll. Put the pedal down right away. Red line and I'm giving it more. City lights are burning right behind me. Top down, I push it to the floor.
Greetings and welcome from Seoul, Korea. My name is Nick Plott, also known as Tasteless, and with me is Little Susie. I am very excited to say we got some more StarCraft games coming up here in just a little bit here at GUM TV. How you doing, Susie?
I'm good. You know what? I know a whole bunch of people have been saying how much they've missed you, being that you've been away at BlizzCon, and we're definitely happy to have you back, even though Jason did do an amazing job last week.
Oh, yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. Yeah, thank you again, Jason Lee, for subbing in for me while I was gone. I thought he did a fantastic job. I think he got 10 times better the second time he broadcasted, so I'm hoping that he can sub in for me every time I have to go to another event. And speaking of which, I will be going to the World Cyber Games in Germany, and I believe 2 to 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, so. And I'm actually going to be there as well. So both of us are going to be missing from this broadcast, but not to fear, Jason Lee will be here to take the place of both of us. Hopefully he can fill the spots of both what we do here.
Well, it's going to be tough. I know what that's like to be casting alone, and it can be pretty tough, but, I'm looking forward to seeing how he'll do. Okay, so our matchups for today. To start off, we're going to have a Terran versus Terran. We're going to have Never V, who you might know him better as 4GG, and then we're going to have him against HiyA, another Terran player. They're both on Lacaf Oz, so this should be a pretty interesting match to see these two guys who train together all the time, trying to eliminate each other from a tournament.
Yeah. Our second matchup is going to be Terran versus Zerg. It's actually Hwasin versus Effort. And now you guys may be aware that they just played each other about a week ago. Is it a week ago? A couple days ago on the 13th. And where, I don't want to ruin anything, but hey, it already happened. It's been a week, so I'm going to. Too bad. Where Hwasin was victorious over Effort, and in a pretty epic battle too. So maybe we'll see another amazing game here today, or we could maybe Effort will take it over and he's tried to get revenge or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna find out in a little bit, but yeah, a big rivalry match there. And also our third game is gonna be Pretty against TT. That's gonna be a Protoss versus Protoss. And, I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I do think Pretty is going to be the favorite there. He was seeded in to the tournament a little bit later on. And finally, we're going to have Savior versus Great, a Zerg versus Zerg. Savior, of course, the winner of BlizzCon. It happened just a week ago. Clearly getting out of his slump right now. Meanwhile, Great, on the other hand, really doing quite well as well. He's more of an up-and-coming player, but he's certainly proving that he's quite skilled. And I'm really curious to see how that series is going to end.
Me too, actually, because, Great so far has, perfect record, quote-unquote. I mean, he's only played like 2 games, really, this season. But yeah, I mean, an up-and-coming player versus Savior, who's trying to defend his title, basically. So that should be good.
Well, down here on the monitor that I have in front of me, which is what you guys are seeing right now, I can see we're going over the brackets. As you can see, we're getting closer and closer to finishing this tournament. We're still not near the end, but as every Sunday passes, we're going to be one step closer to seeing who's going to be the winner of the largest tournament in Korea with the largest prize pool. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. In case you guys are wondering here, upstairs right now, like we've been saying, that we only broadcast the 4 matches here, and then upstairs we actually have more matches. There's 5 other matches going on tonight that's not going to be broadcasted. Unfortunately, we won't be able to bring that to you. I think it does get broadcasted in Korean, but and that's going to be on Tuesday, but we don't really have anything for you guys just yet about these. So once the results come in for those, we'll be able to update you and let you know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll definitely be updating you guys on all the new stuff that's happening and the matches that we can't broadcast. I really wish we could broadcast all of them, but I would probably die. There are so many games going on in this tournament, so we're basically hand-picking the matchups that we think would prove to be the most interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The guys who are upstairs right now are Hull and Sue, Kwanro versus Hyuk, Best, Fire Fist, and Mind versus Baby. I know we've been trying to get Mind and Baby televised for a long time. I have no idea what's going on with that, but
I do not know either.
maybe Baby's shy or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but we'll find out the results of that in a little bit here.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we're going to be moving on to our two players and talking about them in a little bit here. Do you have any interesting stats for us about 4GG, also known as Never or HiyA, Susie?
Oh, well, actually, I do. Let me pull out my stat list here. 4GG, I think it's on this page here. Here you go. 4GG, lifetime stats right now is 128 wins and 82 losses, which is like 61%.
That's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive. Somebody brought what was that, ramen to the tournament?
I think it was. All right, here's the matchup list, guys, so you guys can see it here. Just as we've been saying, it's Never V or 4GG versus HiyA, Quasin versus Effort, Pretty, or otherwise known as Free, versus TT, and Savior versus By Great.
Now, take a look at this. We have 3 mirror matchups here. That rarely ever happens. I don't think it's ever happened to me since I've been working at GOG before, but this should be pretty cool. So you're going to get to see some good Terran versus Terran, Protoss versus Protoss, and finally some Zerg versus Zerg. I'm betting that our first match is probably going to be the longest.
Yeah.
Terran versus Terran. Generally, in StarCraft, tends to be the matchup that just it has the potential to go on for a very long time. It's a very exciting matchup, mostly a war over different positions. So I think it should be pretty cool to see these two guys duke it out, these two guys who know each other so well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we can expect a long game, particularly because these two players know each other so well that...
Actually, it was funny. I was backstage. I went ahead and asked 4GG how he feels about this game, and he just looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, what? What's wrong? He goes, well, we practice together all the time. We know each other so well. We know our playstyles so well. He goes, my head has been killing me trying to figure out what I should be doing to win this because they just know each other. Because they're like, we practice all the time. They're actually pretty friendly with each other at the house. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. They're teammates, they're housemates, they're friends, and they're trying to, beat each other out for this tournament to win. So
it's gonna be pretty wild. Now, keep in mind, Never, also known as 4GG, probably the favorite here. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb there when I'm guessing that. Here's a shot of him
there
now.
There he is. Just like I told you guys, look at him. His Kesco ranking is 5, right? Last season he made it up to the round of 8, and he's seeded now into this position today. Oh, wow, they have it in English.
There you go, bam.
All right.
We keep getting better and better at GOM over here.
Okay, so there we go. That's how he's been doing here. For all of GOM, he's actually 7 wins, 4 losses for his entire stats for his GOM career. Now here is HiyA, who also, that's 65% win rate. Actually, I'm sorry, 64% win rate with 106 wins and 61 losses there. And last season he made it to the round of 32, and this season he went ahead and beat out, what's his name? Yujin, and he also beat out Mingu for his spot today.
Now again, keep in mind, Never. This is the guy that knocked out Jaedong in the MSL finals. I actually showed up live to that event to see that all unfold. I think I was actually spotted in the audience while I was stuffing a hot dog in my mouth. So that was a little awkward when I looked up on the screen and saw that. But and I saw him play live down there, and he's phenomenal. He's really, really good.
Really.
So HiyA might have a tough time, but then again, we have this whole factor where these guys know each other so well. He might not be nervous playing against this guy because It's
probably just like it's probably like sitting around in the house, like practicing with each other. In fact, they're talking to each other right now.
Yeah, on our monitor right here.
And I can't even imagine playing against a close friend and housemate.
Basically, your practice partner. Now, they are, as we said, both in the game, so there is a possibility we're going to get this started pretty soon here. It's just going to be our only Terran versus Terran today. Actually, you know what you were talking about earlier? I think one of the reasons why we didn't take Baby in mind, actually, is I don't think we have enough stage time to do 2 Terran versus Terrans, is because they can potentially go on for so long. That would be my guess. I don't know. I'll ask my boss in between one of these. But, yeah, so
our
that's the
first
story.
map is Chupungnyong. Okay, we've started the game. We have...
There is 4GG over there at the top right. And over here at the bottom left is going to be HiyA. And, both these guys going over their build orders in their minds, saying, all right, what do I need to do to beat this person who I have played with so many times before? And look at the pulls on that.
Wow.
Now, apparently, our viewers haven't always been right in predicting who the winner is supposed to be, nor have I, because we've had so many upsets early on. I do think that it's going to be tough, though, for HiyA. Never is just a brilliant Terran player, and I don't think there's any one matchup that's his Achilles heel, so I would expect him to go quite far. I know he got pretty far there last time.
Ooh, time attacker.
There are the turtling girls behind the Never V giant handkerchief, tablecloth, whatever that thing is.
Well, let's see. Never, 4GG actually is called the time attacker here. I don't know if you guys know of that, but it's because they always think he's great at timing attacks, and he's a very offensive player. Like, he just likes to go in all the time. He doesn't really like to wait, so... definitely. It's kind of funny. They also have a nickname for him, and they call him, like, the Deputy Section Chief, Mr. Park. And I was like, what's that mean? I know. And it's because he looks older than he should. And so they all make fun of him. They call him, like, Grandpa or something. And don't we have another player like that?
Do we?
I am pretty sure.
I'm sure we do.
Yeah. His name is escaping me, but, his last 10 games, he's on a 7 wins, 3 losses. We'll see. Versus Terran, he's also on a 4-game winning streak. So we'll see what 4GG has for us.
Oh, what? 2 messages on the sign. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game. We see the White Terrans already scouted pretty early here. HiyA already moving out. And, you generally don't want to scout too early with Terran because you need every SCV possible to get a lot of minerals and Vespian gas. You can get that factory up early on. We're going to see a mech here for both players. That's pretty standard. All right, the first factory's coming up now for 4GG. He did take they both took SCVs off of the Vespian gas. Only one in there, so I'm guessing we're going to see a command center here now. In Terran versus Terran, this is a matchup that's not about hard counters. You can basically counter any build with any other build. You just have to know the build order you're doing inside and out.
Sorry, I was just going to ask you, because it is a mirror matchup, I mean, what are the kind of things that we can expect?
Well, mirror matchups a lot of times are about reading what your opponent's doing and just cutting a few corners to try to get ahead somehow. Scouting is critical, of course, because it is one of these matchups where if you see your opponent's doing one thing, there might be a counter your own race has that can stop that immediately. So it's a lot about scouting. Now, neither player has a great idea of what the other player is doing right now because neither of them have a scouting unit in the opposing player's base. However, HiyA has lifted off a little bit sooner than normal. And with that lifted off barracks, he's going to try to move in there and get a better idea of what is going on. Meanwhile, the Vulture comes out here for HiyA. And he will probably do a little bit of scouting. Probably will not be able to get up the ramp or do anything effective like that, but he'll at least know that he's going to get that expansion up before his opponent. A lot of people give me crap because I call them vulture bikes. I try to stop doing that, but seriously, you guys don't know. There are little pedals behind that armor. You just can't see it right now. I think, well, it looks like he did manage to back those Marines up the ramp a little bit, but really not too effective here with the vulture. He does know that his opponent hasn't expanded yet. 4GG is going to lift off that command center and try to float it down onto the low ground. And on a map like this, I think we can expect a pretty long and drawn-out game here. This is also a map where we could have potentially seen some very aggressive proxy rushing, but we didn't. And I was actually wondering if that might have happened, though, just because these guys know each other so well. It's like, hey, I got to do something different. I mean, this guy knows how I play so well. I need to pull something crazy out of the hat.
I know. Well, I'm looking at this unit counter here. They're almost exactly the same.
Well, with the 4 Marines, it doesn't look like HiyA's barracks is going to be able to get in there at all. You really can't afford to lose the barracks, because if you lose the barracks, then you cannot make extra factories. And this is the phase where the players start to add more factories to their base. The armory's almost done. And I think because his opponent, well, he has no idea what his opponent's doing. HiyA is trying to get a few Goliaths out here. Maybe he might have to use them defensively. And in fact, it looks like they're both going to be getting that armory. We saw a little bit of that in the corner here. And it's probably going to be a dropship-focused game here in the next 2 minutes. Not a bad idea either. Although, you know, this is a map that's so new, we don't really know the best way to play it out. And take a look at this. It looks like HiyA's moving his tanks out here pretty far. Farther than I would have expected, at least. And these 2 Goliaths should take out 4GG's barracks, no problem. Well, if 4GG wants to get any extra factories up, he's going to need to do that now. And the same may be happening here for HiyA's barracks. Well, 4GG's barracks, 4GG, also known as Never, his barracks has been picked off here. It does look like, well, let's see here. They are both, I believe, getting Vespene gas at their expansions here, which means we may see a lot of upgrades and a higher tank count here, which would make sense. All right, small siege line here for 4GG. Now, he might have to be careful because HiyA is going for dropships. Technically, they're both going for dropships, but I question 4GG's positioning here.
You know, well, this season, HiyA has been having a bit more, I guess, experience with professional gaming because he's the one that they've been using for the Pro Leagues. 4GG hasn't really had a chance to make his appearance out in the Pro Leagues. Yeah, well, certainly HiyA is starting to get, more used to playing. And like, oh, that dropship gets spotted! Yeah, as I was saying, he is getting more experience playing live, which is going to help a lot. And HiyA, whose name is the same noise that ninjas make, is about to sneak inside of this main here, but not too sneaky because it was already spotted. He's going to have to drop somewhere, probably outside of the tank range. This may be a good location, or actually he could go for the high ground here. That would be even better. Good call there by HiyA. He's going to force these SCVs to pull off, and that's really going to mess up the Terran's economy at least a little bit. And, wow, 4GG's got some great defense here. Actually, this drop wasn't too effective at all. Okay, well, we got the 2 extra factories here coming up for 4GG. And I think, if I'm looking at the minimap correctly, I do believe HiyA's got the other 2 factories on the way as well. 4GG seems to want to be focusing more on the ground here, with HiyA focusing more on harassment. Somehow this SCV actually managed to get over there. And you can see scans going down. Now, in Terran versus Terran in the mid-game, you're not scanning your opponent. Hold that thought. Here comes an attack. HiyA loses 1 tank back there. Scanning on the high ground. This is a matchup where you want to scan your opponent's army constantly. You don't want to just run into a bunch of siege tanks with siege mode
and get drastically behind. So you don't normally spend time scanning your opponent's main. Of course, Terran players normally hockeying the scanners of 098, hitting those with their index, and then the S with their pinkies usually. They have to be constantly scanning everywhere. And take a look at this. Now, I question if once again Never has overextended himself. Here we can see a drop. And indeed, this is why a lot of times, okay, he's just going to let that go. All right. I won't say anything. It looks like he's actually going to go ahead and go for the high ground. And actually, now that I'm thinking this over, I think this actually is a better location if he can secure it. He needs to get over here and take out these SCVs at this location. This is a great location. Terran's actually going to send all the SCVs along with his units. And you can see, looks like HiyA is microing pretty well here. HiyA, he is actually going to lose this attack here, but he did take out some SCVs. Now, in Terran versus Terran, it works a little bit differently than other matchups. You can actually lose SCVs a lot as long as they're helping you in the battle. SCVs are, of course, so strong, you can rush up in front of siege tanks. They're pretty good for that kind of stuff. So it does look like HiyA, while he did mess up his opponent's economy, you got to keep in mind that other command centers finishing here. 4GG can be offensive here. It looks like HiyA set up a trap on the low ground here, and indeed, Never just going to go right around that. Now, this is Never starting to be aggressive here. He could come in here at an angle that would be great. Sieging up first, taking out the initial tank. It looks like this should get cleaned up over here by Never. No problem, but take a look at that. A few more dropships coming here, clean up Never's tanks. 4GG's in awful condition. He needs all the tanks he can keep alive here. And actually, 4GG, I should really be calling him Never because that's the tournament name he's picked, or the name for this tournament, I should say. He's moving in here now. Neither player doing terribly, but it's a very back-and-forth aggressive game here. Once again, the spotter barracks will be taken out. He'll have to reconstruct that. And getting these extra command centers up usually means that this would be the time you would ideally want to add a few extra factories. Well, HiyA does seem to have a bit of an economy advantage. He had his expansion up for a little bit longer. He also, of course, has not lost any SCVs. Meanwhile, he's setting up another expansion down there. There's a spotter depot. About to be a dead depot. This command center will probably be done in about a minute here. And HiyA will transfer there again. Nice save there. Maybe I spoke too soon. Oh! You cannot afford to lose dropships in Terran versus Terran, especially this phase of the game. That's how you bank on your mobility in controlling the map. You know, Terran units are so immobile. Siege tanks are most powerful when they're in the siege mode, such as these ones are doing right now. You want to get your army there quickly, and that's why you use these dropships. And I think 4GG may have some pretty good position on his opponent. He may be waiting for HiyA to step into that. Meanwhile, HiyA not going to step into that. Instead, going to send out 2 dropships and go right for this expansion, which appears to be completely undefended. Well, this could be bad news for Never over here. Wow, fantastic job. Never is starting to get in absolutely awful condition. He's going to lift off. The Goliath will clean up that command center, no problem. 4GG, also known as Never, going to need to move in here with a kill move now or lose this game. And is he going to do that? Okay. Yeah, he's going to move down here towards that expansion. He's going to try to even out these expansions. This may be difficult, though, if not impossible, for Never to actually get in there and do that. Meanwhile, looks like HiyA really wants Never to pull back and try to defend here, and Never's not going to bite that bait. Well, he is going to have to lift off that command center, but keep in mind HiyA, with this extra expansion, is going to have such a powerful economy. It's just going to be tough for 4GG. 4GG playing very carefully, but still getting behind during this game.
Well, I mean, in this case, what do you think Never GG should be? Never GG. I'm sorry. 4GG Never should be doing.
Well, I think he needs to either. I think he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is set up a trap here for his opponent to walk into. And he doesn't seem to be going with drop ships, which appears to be better on this map, at least for what HiyA has been doing. What he really needs to do is figure out if he can either get that expansion or take out a lot of siege tanks. Because right now, all HiyA has to do is defend and get a bigger army, and then he's just going to come over here and run his opponent over. You can see at the top left that HiyA has position over basically the two expansions that Never is would want to get, and I think finally Never is going to move back here and try to take out those units. And here that comes right now. This probably should have happened a while ago, but I think, I don't know. I mean, of course, Never is a much better StarCraft player than I am, so I guess we got to trust his judgment there. Nice micro, by the way, back there. Now, in this window of time, Never has to expand probably twice, if not 3 times. And you know what? HiyA knows that. He's going to go ahead and harass over here. And, oh, man, just 1 second too late. You know, Never has to be careful where he's building these command centers. If he builds them out in vulnerable locations like that, it's very easy for them to be picked off. You know, the SCV, so vulnerable while it's building that. Well, we need to see an attack up here pretty soon, coming from Never, and I think that moment might be now. Great micro here by Never. Look at him tiptoeing over there. HiyA's going to get ready. I believe this is going to be used to defend, and why would he not do that? All right, well, looks like this expansion is going to be taken out, but again, Never does not have an extra expansion, and he's going to move in here for the tanks. Nice play here by HiyA. Going to go for these tanks. Oh, no. I am a little bit shocked that Never is getting beaten down like this so badly. You can just see that his defense is just so good. There's no way that Never is going to be able to touch that siege line. And there's going to be a no man's land here that's not going to give 4GG any chance to take out these expansions, also known as Never. +1 attack for HiyA. That dropship is taking a nap right now, but he'll probably be used later on. Wow, you know, he's had that expansion up for so long, he can just get so many tanks. Take a look at that. Well, Never starting to catch up economically, but not enough, I think. All right. Well, I wonder what's going on in Never's mind right now. I mean, Never was a player that got so far in the GOM TV Averatec-Intel Classic. Now he just doesn't seem to be doing that well at all. Finally, we're going to see Starport, maybe some drop ships. I just don't like the way that Never played this out to begin with. He did not seem to be adjusting to his opponent. It looks like HiyA was really doing that. HiyA was really focusing on mobility and defense. And on the other hand, it just looks like Never was really just focusing on ground pushing, and it just wasn't very effective, especially on a map where you have so many hills and high ground locations where you can secure. I just don't know if I agree with it. Looks like we're going to see a pretty big drop here, by the way, either to the main or to one of these expansions. And I don't know if... Oh, God, he spotted it! Barely slipping out of there. And, of course, since our Purple Terran does not have dropships himself, he's not going to be able to catch up with this. He needs to evacuate those SCVs. He's not even doing that. Oh, wow. Setting up a perfect siege line right there. Letting these two Goliaths go in here and take out the rest of these units. I am starting to feel bad for Never this game. His last hope is this expansion over here at the bottom left. And you know that HiyA knows that. HiyA may even counterattack instead to the natural expansion if he wants to throw his opponent off. I think that might be what he's doing here now. Oh, unlucky drop ship.
Oh,
two drop ships. Damn. But look at this. This is going to be bad news here for Never. And you can see Never panicking now. He's trying to save. He's badly trying to save this expansion over here. Now, of course, HiyA is moving his opponent's army around exactly where he wants him. I think we're going to see another attack here pretty soon. And that's probably going to be at the middle left here. Expansion. Oh, my God. He is losing so many units here. And now look at the map here. HiyA, oh my God.
Oh, there's the GG.
HiyA just slam dunk. Never. I'm a little bit shocked here. That was not what I think everybody was expecting. But then again, this is season 2.
This is season 2.
So this means that nothing is supposed to make sense and everything is an upset. The sequels just get that much better.
Like I've been saying, he is a very consistent player, and this season he's 2-1 in the Pro League. The team actually has been focusing more on getting HiyA for more screen time. They've actually really been pushing him to be the stronger Terran right now, actually, because they figure 4GG had his glory when he went ahead and did really well in the Arena MSL, right? And so I'm serious, gossip on the grapevine. They have 4GG, they have Lomo, and they now want HiyA to be like the glory guy.
I didn't know that. So now Never might just be some washed up old nerd. I thought he was, more like the star player for their team right now, but I don't know. So it looks like HiyA really one-upping somebody that, looked like it was almost impossible to one-up right now.
So, we'll see. But again, they are teammates. They do practice together, which means...
That makes it tough.
It does.
I know when I've been in competitions before, practicing or playing against somebody who I've played, hundreds of times before can be so difficult because I know exactly, what they're going to do and they know exactly what I'm going to do. It can be tough, but HiyA definitely outsmarted Never there, and I think just played that map the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, I think so too. HiyA, let's see, I forgot to give you guys my little stats here. His last 10 games, he is 6-4. Versus his last 10 Terrans, he's 5-5, which, it's pretty good. You know what's kind of funny? He's a little tidbit. He's actually pretty good against other Terrans. He doesn't, it's 50% win rate, obviously, but against Flash, he has the worst time. He's 1-5 versus Flash.
Wow.
And they always say, whenever he faces Flash, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Flash is going to win this, just because he always has a tough time against this guy.
He's like the anti-HiyA.
Kind of.
There are people out there that are like that. Some people can't beat certain players.
Yeah.
Even if a lot of people agree that one might be better. Now, of course, I think Flash is probably better anyways, but still. You get what I'm saying, yeah. So sometimes people just, they get countered by that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, later on we're going to have Hwasin. Hwasin also has a player that he can never beat, which is Bisu.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Well, hold that thought. It looks like both of our guys are in the game. They are going to be wishing each other good luck and saying good job about that previous game.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, what is it? Do you know what this says on our monitor?
Destination.
That's Destination.
Yes.
Okay, we have our monitor's a little bit blurry today.
So we're playing on Destination, and I think we are starting
any second. Right now.